Washington comes into New York off its worst loss since 1961, which was to the Giants. But hey, they get the Jets in. It's a terrible offense there in New York. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horwitz and NFL.com's Pat Kerwin. Glad to be with you. It's 4-3 Washington, 1-7 Jets. And, well, let's start with the Jets because they're the one that made the biggest news. They're switching quarterbacks, Chad Pennington to Kellen Clemens. Obviously, it's too late to make a playoff run. Whether this team is going to make the playoffs or not is a different story. But what do you think they get out of Kellen Clemens?
Not much. I think you got a chance to look at a young guy that's not ready to play, that's up against a terrific defense, who's absolutely furious about what happened to him last week. I talked to Andre Carter and Casey Raybach. They didn't complain about the score, but they wanted to play another game as soon as possible, and the Jets are what the doctor ordered for them. Kellen Clemens will struggle. Why? The Redskins' four-man rush. They don't even need to blitz, and they will create pressure. Andre Carter on DeBrickashaw-Ferguson matchup I'm going to watch all day.
Let me ask you this. When you were with the Jets as a front office guy, were you ever in a game where you were absolutely blown out, and then the next week you came out and blew out the other team?
Yeah, interesting stat from last year. I don't have the number with me right now, but we charted what happened to teams after they were shut out, because there were a lot of shutouts in 2000.
They weren't shut out, though. Washington did have a touchdown.
But the point I was trying to create was what happens to NFL players when they're shut out. 60% of the time last year when a team was shut out, they won the next week. So I expect the Redskins to come into this game with a revenge model ready to work here and go after the Jets, try to make themselves feel better. And they have the weaponry to do it. Kellen Clemens against those two safeties, Sean Taylor and LaRon Landry, they'll make his life miserable. He won't be able to read the coverage.
One guy you won't have to see, that's Carlos Rogers, one of the starting corners for the Redskins. He's out for the year, but their defense is still pretty good despite what happened last week. As for the offense, it's not very good. Washington's offense had a lot of turnovers last week. You expect it in the Patriots. But even before that, the weeks before, I mean, they only had 160 yards of offense against the Cardinals. This is not a very good offensive football team.
Well, they'll come in here running the football, and they will run the ball to the left. There's no mystery here. And there are opportunities against the New York Jet defense to run the football. But there are better opportunities to throw the ball. The Jets get to the quarterback once every 29 pass attempts. So Jason Campbell, a young guy, they don't have a big, complicated plan for him. He's going to be able to sit in the pocket and throw to Chris Cooley. He's going to be able to sit in the pocket and throw to his other wide receivers on the field without a lot of pressure from the Jet defense. And that's going to make the Redskin offense look pretty good.
All right, well, one of the guys to throw to, that's Santana Moss. He was drafted by the Jets. It's his first game since being traded from New York to Washington. As for Lavernius Coles, the guy he was traded for, he may not play for New York, questionable with a concussion. Let's throw all those information and all those facts into a computer, all mathematical elements. 10,000 tests, 10,000 results. It's the AccuScore prediction. Here's what it has for this game. It's a lot closer than you would think, folks, but 55% of the time through the computer, the Redskins came out on top. I can't believe it. They have the Jets scoring 18 points. Pat, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to react to the 18 points the computer thinks they're going to have. They didn't factor in Thomas Jones. Thomas Jones has touched the ball 162 times this year and hasn't scored a touchdown. So we're not getting any of the 18 points from him. I don't see where they're coming from. I think the Jets struggle in this game. I think it is time to see what Kellen Clemens can do, but that doesn't mean it's time for them to win with them.
All right, well, the Jets going into the bye after this game. We'll see how they do against the Redskins, who need to keep pace in the NFC East. And the NFC, for that matter, as a whole, because they're just 4-3, and some of the teams like the Lions, Packers, they're moving up there. All right, folks, this game starts at 1 p.m. Eastern. For more on this game or any other in Week 9, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com. Watch everything else on the CBS Audience Network. For Pat Kerwin, I'm Jason Horwitz. So you take care.